All right. I think we are live now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to, Saurabh Nanda's channel, and welcome to a session which I am really looking forward to. This is one of those things that I have been working on since a long time now, and I'm very happy to announce this on Teachers' Day. September 5 is considered Teachers' Day is celebrated as Teachers' Day in India. And I'm very happy to announce on this Teachers' Day the Career Mentors Training Program, or CMTP. It is a certification that is a joint effort by Dr. Itishree Mishra, my mentor, and myself in providing us, a learning experience for budding counselors, for people who want to become counselors, educators, teachers, existing career counselors to improve, their services. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to, discuss a lot of approaches to career counseling and a lot of other wonderful aspects, which has now allowed us to, provide better guidance services to people during this certification. So what is this video for? Well, this video is kind of a primer video. It's an introductory video which will help you understand what CMTP is all about. What are the various reasons and motivations behind creating CMTP, and what do we want to achieve through this certification? What is the long-term objective? And most importantly, what will you get out of CMTP if you choose to participate, if you choose to take this certification? So let me begin by telling you that India is the largest country in the world by population, which means we have the largest population to serve as far as guidance is concerned. And unfortunately, for many, many reasons, that guidance has not been available to a lot of our population, to a lot of our young students, our professionals, and so on, because of, well, how diverse and how big we are. Some students do get guidance, some students get zero guidance, some students get the wrong guidance. And even in this internet age, quality guidance, personalized, customized solutions for your needs are very difficult to come by. On one hand, we keep talking about how everyone is very unique. Everyone has their own unique journey. Everyone's life is different. Everyone is supposed to do different things. They are supposed to be made for different things. But we end up pushing all of those unique people into the same system, into the same kind of education and career pathways that we think will bring success. Right? Now, ironical as it is, unfortunately, we don't really have enough resources in our economy to absorb everyone, to absorb every talent. And that is where, a lot of the well-trodden paths were only the paths which were supposed to give you career success. When it was time for me, I think almost 20 years ago, to decide which career pathway will I embark on after my high school. Well, there were very few options available to me. There was medicine, there was engineering, there was commerce. So you go for CA, and or you join the military. Otherwise, you can prepare for the civil services, and that's about it. Why? Because the other career options were not considered good enough, worthy enough, or they were not considered very safe career options. Why? Because way back in 2004, 2005, the Indian economy and the thought process in a small town was very different from what it is now. However, although I am very happy that our economy has grown and there are more opportunities and there is much more information available, our time there was hardly much internet, and we would kind of uh, glance through and peer through and really really go through a lot of different newspapers and reports and rely on a lot of third hand information for career decision making. But in today's time, the opposite is true. There is too much information. Most of that information is irrelevant. Most of that information is half baked and will not really help you. But it is there, which confuses our young people more than it confused young people way back in my times. A lot of you who are listening to this might relate to it. When you were younger, when you were in high school, maybe older to me, maybe younger than me, you all had your own share of challenges. And one thing that I, keep telling all my students, and again, happy Teachers Day to all of you who are watching this. Um, all my students, since I started teaching in 2013, was this: that every single year there are going to be some changes in the Indian education system, which you are not prepared for. They are unprecedented. They will not be announced. They will not be well thought out. But every single year there are going to be some changes in the Indian education system. So don't feel bad that you prepared for something and that didn't happen, because things will change. Every single year this has happened, and this is true even today, even this year. This year, we had the big scam of NEET, and a lot of things happened around that. Every year, something or the other happens. When you are in such a big, complex country with limited options, how do you make a sound career decision which is good for you, which helps you nurture your unique talents? And this is why I became a career consultant. There was no other reason. I was a software engineer, having a nice, decent job. And if I had continued in that path, I would have, become a very high level software engineer, I guess, maybe a technical architect if I really did my job well. But that was not something that I enjoyed, daily in and out. I mean, I was good at it. I could solve, programming problems and build solutions for big companies in the US and in India. But that was not something that I truly enjoyed. And when I started reflecting at the age of 23, 24, when I started reflecting that I'm doing something that the entire world tells me is good, but I'm not enjoying it, that means there is something wrong with it. Something is amiss. And that really disturbed me. I stopped having interest in my job almost 2.5 years, and even though I won a couple of awards, I sometimes I really enjoyed my work, but most of the time it was just quite average. The experience, I was very disturbed with it, because all my life everyone had told me if you do certain things you will do well, and I talk about this in length in one of my TED talks as well. That's when it that's when I decided to do something about it, because we also have had a lot of motivational videos in our time, and a lot of good advice was given by successful people. And one of that advice that's really really kind of um, bore well with me, or it was something that really really influenced me, was that choose a big problem to solve. If you're a privileged person in the society, choose a big problem to solve, because not many people are going to do it. And that's what I decided. I decided that I will try and solve this career decision making problem in India. Didn't have any background whatsoever in this. So I started looking at the internet and figured out that there are psychometric assessments which are available, which I can plagiarize easily. And then I will sell them for free in schools in India, and guide students who want guidance. On the side, in order to support myself, I will teach English for competitive examinations, and that was the plan. And while I was doing this, making this big plan of mine, I stumbled upon a company, a startup based out of Gurgaon, and decided to, apply for a job. Unfortunately, there were no jobs available. So I faked my way through to the interview, and that company was a startup run where Dr. Itishree was one of the co-founders, and Well, they like my honesty. When I told them that I'm sorry, I faked my way into this interview, and they like my honesty, they said, okay, fine, you know what, you're really passionate about this, let's work together. I was the first employee in that company. For 9 months, I traveled all over the country, visiting some 50 plus schools at that time, different curriculums, uh, different kind of student bodies, different parents, different audiences. And we talked about career counseling, we talked about psychometric assessments, and how it can help you understand yourself better and make informed decisions about your career. I observed, shadowed Dr. Itishree Mishra through her counseling sessions, whether it was a one-on-one session with a student or whether it was a group counseling session in an army school in Ambala, or whether it was a session with parents, whether it was a session with teachers, and so on. I just absorbed everything like a sponge. Those 9 months were amazing. They were so transformational for me because not only did I gain a lot of technical knowledge about career counseling, about psychology, about psychometric assessments, but also I understood a lot about the startup ecosystem in India, funding and all the related stuff. Very exciting, very interesting. This is way back in 2012. And a lot of people ask me why only 9 months. Why didn't I stick around longer? Well, I was the first employee to join, and I was also the first employee to quit the company because we had a difference in approach to career counseling. After the startup raised funding, they were being pushed into the edtech space to become an edtech. And if you're familiar with the edtech space in India right now, you know it's not something that has truly shown a sustainable way of doing business or solving people's problems. And I differed with them. I said, EdTech will not work in counseling. We need human counselors. And I still stand by it. It was only in 2022, for the first time, that I found AI to actually augment counseling, to actually add value rather than take away value from it. And since then, we've been working on an AI counselor. Last year on the same channel, I announced the AI career counselor as well. And we are going to, we're still working on improving it. We're still working on the business model of it. And hopefully, in a couple of months, we will actually launch AI career counselor for good. Um, since 2012, it has been a long journey. What I understood was it was amazing working with Dr. Itishree Mishra and understanding all the technical details. But I worked in that company for business development, which means my job was to get business for the company. And I was not able to completely devote my time into the research that was required to understand psychometric assessments. Now, after all this long monologue, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because this is how I became a career counselor. And it has taken me a good 10 to 12 years to achieve some of the things that I have been able to, impacting more than 20,000 students, working with more than 600 schools, 40, 50 universities in 30 odd countries. I have 3 copyrighted models. And so far as I'm aware of, there are no other career counselors having those copyrighted models, especially in India, especially working with the younger population. So all those things, in order to achieve that understanding, it takes a good 10 to 12 years. And let me tell you that there were certifications available then also. When I was doing my online search and finding the right organization to work with, I realized that a lot of certifications which were offered were either too expensive, they were offered by American universities. And even though they were expensive, they were obviously, I'm supposing they are very good, but they did not target the Indian audience. They did not understand the Indian nuances, the cultural challenges which come into the career decision making that we have. Then I found a lot of new organizations starting their own certification programs, wherein their chief counselors were trained by Dr. Itishree Mishra. And I had the opportunity to directly learn from Dr. Itishree Mishra. And that is why we've been able to now come up with a certification, both of us together, which offers a lot more value. My question to you is simple. You all seen the demand of career counseling increasing in India. You all know there is a way to earn money out of career counseling in India. You give advice, you're good with Google search, you help in choosing programs and universities. But how accurate is that if the student tells you, I don't know what to do? If there is no input from the student, how will you understand the student? A lot of you spend a good 3 to 6 months with students, understanding them. And I keep saying this in my sessions as well, that detailed counseling is like dating somebody. You will have to keep on asking questions and questions and questions, and only then you will understand who that other person is. Well, what if you don't have 6 months to spend with every child? Or what if somebody doesn't have the patience to spend 6 months with you? Or somebody does not want to invest money for 6 months so that they can chat with you and understand themselves better? What will you do then? The answer is you ask them a question based on a survey. And that survey is called a psychometric assessment. You will ask the same questions that you will ask in person, but now that question is in the form of a psychometric assessment. It's very well created. The questions have been tested. They have been improved upon over a couple of years. They have been standardized. The results are very reliable. The results are valid, and it helps you understand somebody very quickly. Now, that is the basis of a psychometric assessment. That is why they were created, to avoid any prejudices, any past experiences or biases that you might have, and know more about a person. But then again, there was another challenge which a lot of counselors faced. Even after taking a psychometric assessment, they don't know exactly what is the interpretation of it. Sometimes they confuse the results of a psychometric assessment with their own understanding of a person. And then they say, no, I don't agree with the psychometric assessment. I think it is wrong. It might be wrong, or your interpretation of the report might be incorrect. The reason why that happens is because in our psychology programs, and by the way, Dr. Itishree Mishra also forced me to do a psychology program. She said, if you want Indian educators to take you seriously, you need to do a master's in psychology. And IGNOU was the only university, open university, which allowed me to do that. So I finished my master's in clinical psychology in 2015. In most psychology programs in India, they don't tell you how to interpret psychometric assessments. They don't. They don't even go into the details or the nuances of each psychometric assessment. Yes, there are options, there is literature, there are practical which you can do in order to understand them better, but most students don't do that. Most students in India take psychology. Why? Because they think they can talk well to people. They're empathetic, they want to solve people's problems. Essentially, all of them want to become therapists or counselors. What they don't realize is psychology is a huge field with a lot of interdisciplinary options available. So that's the other challenge that I saw, that most people do not understand how to interpret psychometric assessments. So even after you've taken a psychometric assessment from a big company, you've given it to your client, the client trusts you, but somehow you are not able to convert that trust into good counseling. I know a lot of counselors who make the client take 2 to 3 psychometric assessments. They will make the client take 3 psychometric assessments from 3 different companies, and then they will try to find the things that they understand from each of the reports, and then come up with some kind of an advice which might make sense to the client. Unfortunately, even then they are not fully confident in their advice. These are some of the challenges that we need to solve. Now let me quickly tell you a little bit about the market as well. I know it's been a monologue, please bear with me. After COVID especially, the world economy has been going in different directions. The Western world is recessionary in its trend. Indian economy is growing, but there are hardly any jobs. IITs, IIMs are not producing any more jobs. Career counseling is becoming more and more important. And the governments are taking notice. The government of India this year in its budget has allocated almost 1.48 lakh crore rupees for skilling young people. You know why? Because there have been a lot of industry data which suggests that young people, they're not employable. There are jobs, but they're not employable because they don't have the right skills. Okay, fine. So the government said, let's skill them. But what kind of skill should you gain? Are you good enough for that skill? Can you use that skill for the next 50 years to earn a livelihood? Who will tell you that? Who will tell a young person that? You need a guide, you need a mentor, you need somebody to tell you that. And that is why they have now identified the need for career counselors. And according to some of the reports, there was a newspaper article also recently written by a couple of bureaucrats who are working in this. Around 7,000 career counselors are going to be hired across India. 7,000 career counselors. Will that solve the problem? No, but it's the step in the right direction, because now, for the first time, career counseling has become a skill based, recognized career path in India. Which means if you want to be a career mentor, you need training. Last year, I took up a big problem to solve yet again. I actually gave name to the problem that I chose to solve in 2012. I want to make India career mentorship ready by 2030. And when I did that, a lot of my close friends last year, they asked me, you alone will make India career mentorship ready? I said, no, that can never happen. One person cannot do it. But I could see the trends. Earlier this year, I was invited by two different ministries of the government of India to help them devise career mentorship, mental health mentorship programs for young students in underserved communities in India. Why did they invite me? Why is the government working on this? Because they have also realized the need for career mentorship. So we can achieve this by 2030 because now the government supports this. What we need to do now is plug the demand. There's a lot of demand of career counselors. We need to supply good quality career counselors now. And that is what we intend to do through CMTP. The challenge is to provide career counseling to every student and professional. How is that possible in a massive country like India? So many languages, so many different challenges and consequences of each family. That is where technology has to help us. That is why this certification is completely online. Just because you're based out of big city, you will have access to this? No, not at all. We are specially targeting people from tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6 cities. If you have a decent internet connection, and if you have a computer or any device which you work from, please join us. There's a reason why we've kept the cost low as compared to a lot of other career counseling certifications in the market. And yes, there are other career counseling certifications in the market. And I want you to compare all of them before you invest your money into this. And if you have questions, you can listen to this video. You can read my articles on in the media. You can look at the copyrighted models. Tell me if any other person has any other copyrighted models. You can look at the kind of psychometric assessments that they offer. You can look at the kind of support that they offer, and then make a good decision. Talking about support, we offer, so this certification, CMTP, is for 3 months online. You will get to learn directly from me, from Dr. Itishree Mishra. If you get stuck in any client query, any case study, we are here to solve those questions. We will give you live and recorded case studies to solve. You will be able to observe our counseling techniques. You will be able to learn from our copyrighted models. You will be able to understand the nuances of career counseling, which are not available on Google. Can you actually search something like this? My student is not listening to me, even after I gave them the entire counseling very well. I told them the educational pathways, career pathways, but they're not following it. What should I do? Will you get an answer to this? Probably not. But can you ask this question to us? Yes, absolutely. And we will solve it together. In 3 months, you will be assessed. You will be part of a big community. You will learn from your mistakes, because we encourage mistakes. We encourage failure. You can ask team members at SN Mentoring currently. How do we go about it? We encourage failure. So this is a safe space that we have created for you. Another thing that I wanted to share was nobody can know everything about every career option in the world. Is it possible for a single human being to know everything about everything? No, right? So how do we solve a problem? Well, some very wise people had once mentioned it takes a village to raise a child. And you alone, being a career counselor, you think you can solve all the career queries of a child or maybe multiple children? According to some statistics, a career counselor um is actually allowed to solve, or should be working with some 200 children per year. One career counselor in India should be working with some 200 children per year. Can you solve 200 different multivariable, multivariate problems of different people? Do you have enough knowledge? How can we solve it then? We can only solve it together as part of a community. Nobody has to know all the answers. But what we should be doing is we should know where to find the answers for our clients. And that is what we are trying to create here. So you will have technical sessions about career decision making, about API model, about psychometric assessments, and so on. You will also have expert sessions on NLP, how to manage mental health of your clients, your own, how to identify mental health challenges. What are the ethics of being a career counselor? What are the value systems that you need to imbibe? And then there will be a third type of sessions, third kind of sessions wherein we will be introducing you to other education service providers who are solving some of the career problems of students, so that you understand what is CUET and how is it different from SAT. If somebody wants to become a judge, what is the long-term career pathway? How should they go about it? If somebody wants to go abroad, if somebody wants to study in a private university in India, how to access scholarships, all those things. We will get experts to take those sessions for you. And then you can actually even collaborate with them if you want. Because as I said, our approach is that the village solves a problem. The village raises a child, not somebody alone. Sorry for that. So for 6 months, you will get continuous support even after the certification. You will get access to our technology, you will get access to our resources, and you will get access to us if there is a client query that you're not able to manage. It's absolutely okay. We are here to solve that. Together, we will create a giant FAQ bank, which other counselors can also depend on. Please understand, what we're trying to do is make India career mentorship ready. And I want to know if you are ready to join in that movement. Well, long monologue, almost 30 minutes. Thank you for bearing with me. I now also have a few of my team members who are there in this call, but obviously they're not visible to you. Would love to answer some of your questions. And I see online there's a very kind comment from Shilpi Rahiji. Thank you so much. She says, gathering immense value from your webinar. Thank you so much. I would like to invite some questions now. Okay, so Ranbir is asking, sir, to become a career counselor, do I need a degree in psychology? No, you don't need a degree in psychology. Which degree do you need then? A preferred degree is a degree in psychology. If you can understand psychology, if you can study psychology, if you have that option, that is very, very important. Why? Because a lot of career counseling depends on psychology. Can you understand that without a degree? Yes, you can. I understood it without degree. I understood psychometric assessments in 2012 and I completed my master's in 2015. So it is doable. It is very doable. Different options for studying psychology. Well, recently I think the RCI, Rehabilitation Council of India, announced that if you want to pursue a master's in psychology in India, especially clinical psychology, you need to have a bachelor's in clinical psychology as well. Most traditional Indian universities like Delhi University or a private university like Amity or Lovely or Vellore or whatever, they will only allow you to pursue a master's if you have a bachelor's in psychology. I'm talking about masters because I'm assuming that a lot of you might already have done your graduation in something. If you have not, and if you think you would like to work with people, help solve their problems, career counselor is a proper career, then go for bachelor's in psychology. And if you're really passionate, then please pursue PhD as well. However, there are diplomas, 1 year diploma programs also available for psychology. In India, primarily psychology has three different fields, three specializations. More and more are coming, so I'm very happy for that. But primarily in traditional universities, three different fields or disciplines are offered: clinical, counseling, and organizational. Organizational is primarily for the corporate world where you work with corporate governance in the HR function. Sometimes a lot of psychologists also end up in marketing and advertising. But yeah, that is primarily where they go. So I hope that answers your question. Do you provide mentorship as well? Yes, we do provide mentorship. We provide mentorship to people between the ages of 10 to 40. So middle school, high school, university, young professionals, senior professionals, military, veterans who have completed short service and they want to get into the corporate world, MBA guidance, fellowships, etc., etc. We provide a lot of services. Yes. So, like shadowing, actually, that's one of the reasons why we started the certification. When COVID hit, and I started SN mentoring as an online career counseling service practice. In 2021, a lot of people wanted to learn about it. School teachers approached me, education professionals in test prep, university representatives, other counselors. They approached me because they wanted to learn about career counseling. And I said, fine, join us in a Zoom call. Please do not speak when we are speaking to the client. Observe, be the fly on the wall, and then you can ask questions after the session. And I did that with a good number of people, and all of them actually have given some wonderful testimonials also to us. That's when the need arose that this should be made into a structured program. And so since 2021, I've been working on a structured program, and finally, in 2024, on this auspicious Teachers' Day, we are proud to announce that CMTP certification will be there. You will be able to shadow us in our live sessions as well, of course, with the consent of our clients. Jaskirat asks, so what would career counseling be profitable in small cities? All right. So that's a good question, because in small cities, especially in India, the average disposable income is less, which means people will not spend money on things that they don't find value in. Secondly, traditionally speaking, sociologically speaking, the Indian society is a trust deficit society. We became trust deficit, especially after the British invaded, ruled over us. There's a different literature to it altogether. Now, what does it mean, trust deficit? That we don't trust a lot of other people. We don't trust a lot of professional services. However, we do trust a lot of our families and friends. So we take a lot of guidance from our families and friends. And we feel that guidance is enough. Why? Because if one of our family or friend or relative has succeeded in their career, they must have done something right. So whatever they have done, if we can follow that, if we can emulate, we will also find success. So a lot of us go for that. In smaller cities, this is more prevalent as compared to metro cities, where the acceptance of professionals in career counseling is increasing day by day. Almost, I think it was in 2012-13 that CBSE had asked or mandated, directed all CBSE schools to have a counselor at campus. It started slowly, but many schools still don't have counselors, which also means that small town parents don't know the value of counseling or having a counselor. But can it be profitable? Absolutely, it can be profitable. You will need to, however, invest in building a personal brand, maybe, or in building connections with schools, with education ecosystems, with NGOs, so that people know that you provide these services. And if you have a certification like CMTP with you, that will help you in getting more clients. What we are trying to do with CMTP is it will be obviously certified by SN Mentoring and Map My Career. It will also be certified with the UK regulator soon. So it will be an internationally recognized, internationally certified certification. We are planning to launch the same certification in the Middle East, in Malaysia, and in some other countries as well. On top of it, we are trying to work around getting this certification converted into a diploma so that it becomes a Government of India recognized diploma and you can do it in other formats as well in the future. But having this knowledge, having this scientific approach, having the support system that we provide will definitely help you make your business profitable. Talking about business, how to convert a career counseling practice into a business is a very different conversation. And that is why we have dedicated sessions wherein we will help you understand what are the nuances of this business, how to earn money, how to price your services, how to target people, how to bring in good quality guidance into the region, into the city that you live in, and how to make this service more professional, how to make this ecosystem more professional. All right. So another question, as I'm working, will the sessions be conducted to suit the work schedule? Yes. So what we want is, in fact, with the first inaugural cohort, I want the first inaugural cohort to actually teach us to make the certification better. We've created a very nice structure. It's a very flexible structure. There are recorded sessions. There are sessions. There will be continuous engagement for 3 months. We will make sure that a lot of those sessions are conducted on weekends or maybe in the evenings, so that a lot of you who are working can find time and can, take the learning from it. It'll be based on an LMS, so it is self-paced learning as well. You will get a lot of flexibility when it comes to completing your assessments and assignments as well. We have created the structure, but what I want is the inaugural cohort work with us to smooth out all the challenges that we're going to face, because we are going to face challenges, and then make this program better, make this program suitable not only for somebody who understands this industry, but for somebody who had never really cared about it. We are also going to induct a big cohort of government school teachers by the end of this year, just to understand and make sure that this program can be tweaked for every kind of educator in the country. So will this be flexible? Yes, so far in our mind, it's very flexible. But how flexible will it be? Well, why don't you join us and help us make it more flexible? Can the CMTP program help me be more successful in counseling? Yes, absolutely. That is the entire purpose. Counseling is an art and a science. We actually define counselors in 4 different categories. And we are going to talk about those 4 categories in the course as well. And we're going to talk about how you can master or how you can develop your skills in different types of counseling. A lot of you are very good listeners. You're very empathetic. You're very sympathetic. And you want to solve people's problems. You're very passionate about it. Sometimes you lack the tools. Sometimes you lack the knowledge. And you feel incomplete. A lot of you are extremely knowledgeable because you probably have solved problems for yourself. That you wanted to do something, then you figured out something, then you went there, then you did that. And now you want to share the same kind of approach with others. But then you're not very patient listening to their problems. So even though you have the knowledge, you have the tools, transferring it to people becomes very challenging for you. A lot of you know what should be the end product. But mentoring somebody, holding somebody's hand, taking them through the process, or talking to very difficult clients. Difficult in the sense that they are not ready to listen to you at all. They're not giving you the respect that you think you deserve. How to manage all those situations? Because these are everyday situations that every counselor faces. How to get over that? We'll share what we have been doing. And probably we can come up with better techniques, better nuances, better best practices, better terms and conditions so that you do your job well, the client gets what they want and should receive, and it becomes a more professional, more empathetic ecosystem for everyone. The psychometric test you mentioned, is that recognized or accredited by any body? Yes. So the psychometric assessment that we use is the intellectual property of Dr. Itishree Mishra. Dr. Itishree Mishra, let me talk a little bit about her. She is the preeminent psychometrician in India. She's the one who introduced aptitude, personality, and interest inventory in India after learning and in collaboration with her mentor, Professor Vimla Veeraraghavan, who, by the way, has set up psychology departments and headed psychology departments in Delhi University, in JNU, in IGNOU, and also set up psychology departments in various private universities in North India, in West India, and so on and so forth. Now, she has actually, standardized this test over South Asian students over many years now. Initially, she took 2 years and more than 1 lakh students to standardize, validate this test so that the results are reliable. This test has been conducted over students in India and Nepal. This test has been used by various government bodies across India. So when it comes to recognition, accreditation, these are the pioneering facts that you need to understand. Most recently, this test will be used by some of the preeminent universities like IITs in India. It will be used by a couple of ministries in India. And that is why it becomes the most robust inventory that you will ever come across. So what does this inventory do? The inventory for high school students is called Career Visit Test. It measures 10 aptitudes. It measures 28 personality traits. It also gives results in 14 personality types. And it helps the student choose from some 250 odd interest areas, career interest areas. And then the special thing about what Dr. Itishree Mishra does is she gives you personalized notes for students that she thinks need a special attention or something extra. Sometimes she will tell you that, if you want to take physics, then probably you need to focus a little bit on this. If you want to go for that, please focus on the long-term master's and PhD program. She gives personalized notes to every counselor who takes her test, which is usually missing with a lot of other testing bodies in India. And finally, now Dr. Itishree Mishra is launching more tests. We have separate inventories for graduates. We have separate inventories for skills and vocational training. We have separate inventories for recruitment purposes. We're also developing an inventory for entrepreneurship. And because entrepreneurship is the next employer, you have to be self-employed. A lot of push is there. And we are also involved in a lot of entrepreneurship training. So yeah, that is about the test. And okay, I'm looking for a counseling mentorship option post the program ends. Yes, so as I said, after the program ends, 3 months, you get 6 months support with us. You're part of our ecosystem. And after the 6 months are over and you still want to continue with our support ecosystem, it's a monthly subscription. You become part of our community. You get access to a lot of resources, access to a lot of webinars, which are conducted privately. If we get enough audience, which I hope we do, then we will be conducting offline events also. Hopefully in the next year, you get access to all that and discounts on a lot of other things. We are also part of some professional organizations now, professional academic bodies, where a lot of research will be published. And you get access to all that and maybe even participate in all that. So that's what CMTP is. It's not only a certification, it's about building a community so that we can bring professionalism to the entire career counseling industry. Also, so that we can make India career mentorship ready by 2030. All right. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to edit the video after this, and we are going to we're going to actually put an interest form in the description of the YouTube video. I also posted on social media yesterday. I'm going to post the same video with the interest form again on social media. If you are interested, please sign up. Please send your information. We will send you a detailed delivery email. In that delivery email, you will understand what we are offering in this, what you get, and when the program is likely to begin. We aim to start the first cohort as soon as possible. I aim to have a couple of cohorts in September itself. So please fill in the interest form, because as I said, the inaugural cohort will be the cohort which will be helping us develop CMTP into something that it truly should be. Thank you so much for all the questions, for all the support, for watching this, for bearing with me and my monologue, and joining us for this movement. I hope all of you have a joyous, wonderful Teachers' Day, and I hope that you continue supporting us and contributing to what we're trying to do here. Thank you so much.